Hello everyone, 안녕하세요. Welcome back to our English class. We are now on week 3, right? We are on your 3rd class with me for business, tourism business. Okay, but before we start our class, I would like to first review last week's lesson. Let's see, do you remember what we did last week? Yes. We looked a little bit at our company organization chart. And let's see, do you remember what the company organization chart was? We started with the CEO, the most important person, right? Then we had our managers. They work under the CEO, but they are still bosses. Then we moved on to you, the employees, right? And there were different types of departments we looked at. There was the marketing department, the finance, the money department, the IT, the computer department, and we looked at the management department as well. Last, we looked at the individual employees. So we looked at travel agent jobs, we looked at crew staff, we looked at new up-and-coming modern jobs like travel blogger, right? Flight attendant, which is common, and we have our tour guide as well. So last week we did a lot on how company structures work, as well as different kinds of employees you can get, right? As well as the food critic, right? Okay, so please, yes, last week in your quiz, I think some of you were a little confused. A food critic reads books, yes, sometimes, but not all the time. His job is to taste food and go to restaurants to check the quality. Is it high quality, middle quality, or low quality, okay? So not just reading books all day, okay? So my quiz question was, does a food critic read books all the time? No, only sometimes, okay? So don't get confused. Okay, I put a message in the YJP about the homework. I want you to keep all your PPTs, all the PPTs I give you, as well as your homework. Why? Because my class are structured a little bit different. Your homework and the PPTs together, together, they are going to be your study notes, right? So when you study and prepare for the exam, you're going to use your notes, which you wrote from your table 5 or from your long questions. You're going to use those homework questions in the exam, okay? Then you also need your PPT for vocabulary. You have to remember and practice the vocabulary. So I put some voice notes and sound so you can listen to the pronunciation and practice, right? So these two are very important, okay? All the homework I give you, not for fun, for you to study, preparing you for the exam, okay? Then, I said they're important for the exam. I also want you to know, if you have any questions, it's okay to ask me, okay? If you email me very late at night, okay? Sometimes I will reply, sometimes I won't, okay? Usually before 9 o'clock I can reply, sometimes. If I'm working late, I can, okay? But please don't be afraid to send me a question or a message. Sometimes, oh teacher, I don't understand the quiz. You can quickly message me. I also prepared a Kakao group, okay? The Kakao group is not for chatting. It's for information about the exam, information about homework. So please, please, if you can come and join the Kakao group. So if you all have the same question, I can answer the question together, right? Sometimes YJP, it's not so easy. It's much easier for me to speak to you on Kakao. Okay. Let's start today's lesson. So we have COVID-19 and the effect on tourism, right? This is our second last, hopefully one of our second last, this is our second last class on COVID-19, okay? Then we're going to change topics a little bit, okay? So let's see, what does it mean, the effect on tourism? Okay. Our lesson outline is the same as last week. We will have our introduction, vocabulary, practice, quiz, and homework, right? Let's start with our introduction, right? Are you ready? So last time I spoke to you about COVID-19 and the fact that it is all over the world, right? It is all over the world. It's a pandemic. Yeah, so COVID-19 has affected the tourism industry, huh? It has been impacted the most. So most. Why has the tourism company been impacted the most? So this is tourism in? Where did you get the camels? Egypt, right? Okay, then let's move on to the next one. We now have a lot of travel regulations, rules, right? Last week's vocabulary word was regulation and restriction, the little rules. So, what are the different travel regulations because of COVID? Today we're going to look at an article on COVID-19 and tourism, and it says, coronavirus puts 50 million tourism jobs at risk. 50 million! Wow! So you must be so worried, huh? Because you're going to graduate and then what will happen? But I have hope. Don't worry. Okay, I have another video for you. Yes! Let's see if I can get it to work, right? Let me just use the mouse and let's see. I have a short video from Ariran News. Let's hear what they say.
Industry research suggests that the coronavirus pandemic could cost more than 100 million jobs in travel and tourism worldwide. That's according to a study by the World Travel and Tourism Council, which says nearly 75 million of the at-risk jobs are in G20 countries.
Oops. One more time.
Industry research suggests that the coronavirus pandemic could cost more than 100 million jobs in travel and tourism worldwide. That's according to a study by the World Travel and Tourism Council, which says nearly 75 million of the at-risk jobs are in G20 countries. 1 million jobs are being lost, it says, every day. The study projects the greatest losses to be in Asia at more than 63 million and in the Americas with some 14 million. The industry itself is projected to lose up to $2.7 trillion.
Okay. Please don't play. Okay. So the news report was saying certain things. Let's press click. Right over here. Back, back, back. Oh, what's wrong? Aha. There we go. So we have 100 million jobs lost in tourism worldwide. So when you can watch the news report one more time. I was trying to put the subtitles, but it wasn't working. So when you play one more time, you can play with the subtitles from Ariran News. Or you can listen to the Korean story on the Korean Ariran if you don't understand. But please try and listen to the English one first, okay? So there's 100 million jobs lost in tourism, gone in tourism worldwide. In Asia, 63 million, just Asia. Then we have the US, only 14 million, while G20 are the ones that have to do with the UN. They're the countries that make big decisions in the world. So some of the G20 countries are USA, China, I think, is in the G20, and Europe. A lot of Europe is G20. They only lost 75 million. Travel industry predicted, they were thinking, they will lose about $2.7 trillion. That's a lot of money, right? Because of coronavirus. That's a lot of an impact, right? So my question for you, I want to know, what do you think? So in your homework, your first question 1 is going to be, what do you think? What do you think is the impact? Does it make you scared or worried? Or, like me, are you very hopeful? Do you think, okay, we can do it, we will be okay, right? I want to know. Or do you think, don't worry, just short, small problem, chicken problem, right? I want to know your ideas. Next thing, I want you to think, okay, there are solutions. So I want you, don't worry. Next year you will graduate, but you don't have to worry as tourism students because there are solutions. Let's see, what are the solutions? Number one, hotels now have social distancing, right? This is a picture from Greece. They have social distancing on the beach. Everybody has to stay in their different umbrellas, right? Number two, staff wear masks, right, in the hotels. So some hotels in very small beaches or countries that have a lot of tourism are starting to open, and they're using a lot of masks, and they sanitize all the rooms. Number three, there are plastic dividers at restaurants. I don't know, this is kind of crazy, right? Oh my gosh, we look like little aliens. I don't know, Anjuayo, right? Arigo. Then let's look at this one over here. I think a little bit better, right? So they are putting little dividers in restaurants so that you can eat and not cough on your friend. Okay. Number three, little fast food places like McDonald's, they have marked on the floor or on the seats, they have put little markers to say don't sit. Even in Daegu Bukbu, yeah, in the bus terminal, they have put markers, social distancing markers, right, when you travel. So, let's move on. So the future of travel. I have a second video, and it is very, very long. I only want you to watch about 2 minutes of the video, so I will let you see just a little piece of the video. Okay, this is the future of travel. So let's see.
I think travel post-COVID-19 isn't going to be as fun as it was. Seriously, you have to be healthy to fly. At airport check-in, look out for longer queues and more time spent because you might have your body temperature taken, a full thermal scan, or even have COVID-19 test kits taken to be allowed to board. If you fail these tests, you won't be allowed to board a plane.
At airport, you will see new signage and sneeze guards at check-in counter. These allow minimum contact between agent and customer. Airlines are also reducing touch points by temporarily shutting down self-service kiosks in most locations. Try to do online check-in at home. Airports around the world is applying the latest disinfection technologies, including disinfection channels. Hong Kong Airport is the world's first airport to trial a full-body disinfection channel facility. The self-disinfection process will take just 40 seconds. Sterilizing robots can move around autonomously and sterilize up to 99.99% of material in its vicinity, including both the air and object surface, in just 10 minutes. Going forward, we will expect to see more of these technologies measured at airport terminals. Expect social distancing everywhere, including at security checkpoints. When you go to airline lounge, expect only packaged and wrapped food instead of usual buffets.
Okay, let's see if it works this time around. Aha, there we go. Okay, so you will watch the full video at home when you are doing your homework, okay? But to save you time, let's start. Okay, this video, they are speaking about the future of travel after COVID. So number one, all the airports have new technology, right? To make travel much more quicker and convenient, right? So number one, they have self-disinfection. So you can self-disinfect, okay? Then we have face recognition check machines. We have thermal heat scans, right? Then we have robots. The robot was cool. 10 minutes, sanitize, so cool. Then we have wrapped food, right? So the food is wrapped and covered so that there's no infection in the food. So these are just 5 examples, but if you watch the video, there are many, many more new ideas and technology for travel. So let's go on. I have question number 2 for you. I want to know, how has South Korea here helped the tourism industry? Do you know any ideas that South Korea has done. Please, 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 when you answer these questions, you ask me, teacher, oh, why my points are so low? If you want more points or a higher score, please, please do more research and write detail. Write a little bit more, okay? One sentence, okay, please, try. Number 2, how has South Korea protected its tourists? How has it kept the tourists safe, right? During vacation, how were you safe? Busan had different times to go to the beach. I want different ideas of how Korea has kept people safe during COVID-19. Let's do today's vocabulary, okay? So, our first word is pandemic, okay? Pandemic is a virus that doesn't just start in one country. When we had Ebola, it was only in Africa, so not a pandemic. When we had SARS, most of the time it was in Korea and China, right? And also some Japan and some countries in the world. So that was not a pandemic. A pandemic is when it is all over the world. Then we have industry. What is industry? Different kinds of industry. You are part of the tourism industry. There is the IT and medical industry as well. There is the business industry and so many more. Our next word is crowded. Oh, I hate when you go to the subway and there's so many people, especially in Seoul. You're like a sardine, right, in the subway. So this is a crowded beach, and this is a deserted beach, meaning empty, nobody. Heaven, right? Then we have hit, okay? So the tourism industry was hit by COVID-19, and this is hit means money has gone down, okay? Then we have border. This is the most famous border in South Korea, where North and South Korea meet. It is a line between two regions or two countries. We have predict, yes, okay, to guess what will happen in the future after COVID, right? Last, we have recover. So hit was all your money going down. Recover is all your money coming back, which is good, right? So, I want you to do for homework this week matching activity 4, which is a nice vocabulary match, okay? Then I have a practice activity for you, which is a listening activity. Because many of you are having a little bit of trouble with listening to the audio in the PPT, I will put extra recording folder in the Google Drive. Okay, so please search if it doesn't play so you can do the activity. Listening. Okay, we can move on. Then we have a reading activity before you finish. So I will read a little bit with you, and then we will answer our questions before finishing class. So our story is on the tourism industry. Okay. So the tourism industry makes 10% of the world's GDP, money, right, and jobs. It is one of the industry's hardest hits by the COVID-19 virus, right? So airlines, cruise ships, and hotels have suffered big losses. Money has gone down. Korean Air, which is very good, was warned about the coronavirus could threaten its survival. So Australia's Qantas, I like Qantas too, has cut down its international flights, by nearly 25%. So international flights and Qantas are cut because of the outbreak. So question number 1, how much is the world's money, GDP, comes from tourism? How much of the money comes from tourism? That's question number 1. Number 2, what airline, okay, there are 2 airlines, is worried about its survival? I want to know which airline it is. Okay, let's read part 2 before we finish. So, world famous sites are deserted, so nobody's there. This could cause restaurants where you eat and cafes for coffee to go out of business, to close, right? as tourists stay away from crowded places. Yeah, they don't want COVID. Tourism is a key industry in Hawaii. Okay, so I think Teacher Nathan spoke to you about Hawaii and travel already. Experts there predict that over half of Hawaii's hotel rooms will be empty, deserted, right, over the next few months. So the World Travel and Trade Company, Travel and Tourism, yes, World Travel and Tourism Company says that tourism would take 10 months to recover after the virus. So I have 2 or 3 more questions for you here. So what did the article say was deserted? What was empty or deserted? Okay, was it parks, hospital, world famous sites or streets? Where did the article say tourism was key? Where is tourism the key? Key means most important, right? Okay, so show me where is it most important? And how long time will it take to recover? Okay, for the money to come back up. For homework, I told you which sections we have. Okay, this is the most important vocabulary, so I prepared a review page so you know what is most important to focus on for the exam. And that is your vocabulary words and the tourism solutions. So I made a list for you here as well. Social distancing, staff wearing masks, sanitizing, plastic dividers, and wrapped food self-check-in. Just some different ideas. But tourism solutions during COVID are very important for you to remember for the exam. Last, okay, please don't forget to label your homework correctly. First your student number, then your name. Okay, so homework. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to contact me. Okay, I'll see you next time for your next class. Have a good weekend. 안녕히 가세요.